previous decades, of course, as well. You look at the bench and there's a few Premier League players on there who, to me, could make more of an impact than maybe the starting lineup. You've got your Patrick Van Aanholt, your Daryl Janmaats, your Nathan Ackes, who they could all maybe do a job here. But again, they're you would say of a certain level, and certainly nowhere near the level of the French team as things stand. No, not at all. You look at the French subs, they've got the likes of Fekir and Zonzi in there now, has become a very good holding midfielder. Thomas Lemar, they've got Mendy maybe at left back there, so they've got options to bring on. Ousmane Dembele is another one. Kimpembe is a young centre-back that PSG have played quite a lot. And you do look at Holland, there is still some good players in there, like was mentioned. I mean, Strootman's a good player. Kluivert is one of the most promising prospects you'd feel really for the Netherlands, for the national team. Stefan de Vrij as well, a little surprised he maybe hasn't got the nod, because he recently left Lazio in the summer. He was a target for many Premier League clubs, according to reports over the recent transfer window. As Griezmann plays a nice ball out to the left-hand side, Hernandez then plays it further down the line, looking for Matuidi, digs out across at the byline. He finds, well, nearly finds Pavard, who's just been held off that one pretty well. It was good work there by Babel to put his body in the way. Oh, then they've given it away, though. France maybe a chance now. Drilled across the 6-yard box, and Kylian Mbappe puts it into the back of the net, unmarked from around 3 yards out there. Well, that is absolutely dreadful defending from the Netherlands. Frenkie de Jong, I think it is there, heads the ball back into his own penalty area, straight into the path of a French player, drills it across a 6-yard box, and Mbappe's there. Well, the world champions don't need any handouts on a plate in terms of home fixtures, you would suggest, especially when they've been as dominant as they have been in the opening 14 minutes. But they were giving it absolutely served up to him there. It was a move that had broken down on the left-hand side, but as you say, James, a shocking header back into his own penalty area. I was just about to say how well Ryan Babel had done to originally snuff out the first opportunity for France. As it came in, Pavard tried to get ahead on it, but Babel had just eased him out of it. And as the ball bounced, I think you're right, I think it is the number 7 de Jong who heads it back into his own penalty area, and the ball is fizzed across goal by Matuidi. And it's an easy task from Mbappe, about 3 yards out. Thank you very much into the empty net, and France lead. Well, there's the opener at the Stade de France, and it's come for the home side. It's France 1, the Netherlands 0, and it's easy as you like for Kylian Mbappe to continue his rise in world football. He's opened the scoring on the 14th minute, but it's an absolute gift for the PSG man. France attacking, and the Netherlands trying to defend this one. It looked like they had it settled with, but the ball bounces towards the edge of the area, and then there's a header back into the penalty area from a Dutch player. It's straight into the path of Blaise Matuidi, who gets on the end of it, drills it across a 6-yard box, and Mbappe taps in unmarked from around 4 yards out there. It's France 1, the Netherlands 0. Yeah, far too easy for France to take the lead in this game, but they have won a corner, the Netherlands here, pretty quick to respond, and it's going to be taken by Memphis Depay. Van Dijk and De Ligt up from the back, deep towards Van Dijk, who heads it back into the France penalty area, but Kante's on hand to smash it on the volley downfield, and Mbappe almost latched onto it. The clearance will only go as far as Griezmann on halfway, and France will look to build again with Paul Pogba. Well, indeed. I think we did a discredit to de Jong there, actually, with that header. It was actually Quincy Promes doing some backtracking there, and he was the one that headed it into the penalty area. I've got no idea where he's tryrying to head it, who he's trying to head it to. It certainly wasn't for the goalkeeper. It was never ever going to reach the keeper. No. And the fullback Tete had pushed on another 5 yards or so. So I'm not entirely sure whether he just didn't look up and just thought, I'll get ahead to this. But you just can't head it back towards your own penalty area like that. It's so dangerous to do. And it's certainly the last thing you want to do against France on home soil. Yeah, it's 3 chances Mbappe's already had in this opening 16 and a half nearly minutes. He had one in the first minute and a half. He then had the volley, which he didn't just catch right sort of on the half volley when the ball came to him. And now, well, third time lucky for him, but I don't think he was ever going to miss that opportunity. Unmarked free at the back post around 4 yards out, and he had the goal waiting for him, and he duly obliged by putting it in the back of the net and giving France an early 1-0 lead in this game. And I have to say they've deserved it. The Netherlands, bar the shot from Van Yalden from around 20 yards out in the first sort of 4 minutes, not really done a lot, and they've been second best for much of this. Griezmann they're finding hard to pick up, I think, at the moment there. He just seems to be dropping they line up as if they play a 4-3-3 France, but it's much more fluid than that, and Griezmann's allowed just to float in a bit of a free roll as France come forward again. Giroud can't keep a hold of Pogba's pass, but then the Netherlands give it away. It's very, very cheap at the moment.
The worry that will be for not only the Netherlands, but I would say the rest of Europe and the world really in terms of France, is the fact that they were quite defensive in the lead up to the World Cup. Many people thought that they should try and attack a bit more with the flair they've got, and there was also those suggestions in the early stage of the World Cup. Now they've won the World Cup, it's almost like Didier Deschamps might just take the reins off them and say go out and play, and if they do that to the best of their ability, they'll beat anybody on the planet because they've got such a good squad.
Yeah, well, that's it. It's the strength and depth that they have, really. We've mentioned already the subs they have, and that's not even sort of the touch in the ice, really, of how many people, how much sort of a pool they've got to choose on, because you don't have Laurent Koscielny in there, the Arsenal centre-half. You don't have Anthony Martial in there. There's loads of players when you think, well, actually, where's he? They just can't get in the squad at the moment.
They can't. And as you say, you mentioned quite a few of them on the bench. I mean, Bernard Mendy. You look at Thauvin, who's done well in Ligue 1 as the ball's threaded through, and then on the stretch it was the fullback again, Hernandez, who'd got forward, and again for me Tete has completely lost him. He's just let him drift past. I mean, the fullback's come in to try and cover, but he's not even looked over his shoulder, and Hernandez has just sneaked in behind him. Great through ball. I think it was from Griezmann in the end who picked him out. And on the slide, I don't think he realised how much time he had, James. He could have actually had a touch and then fired towards goal. Yeah,
it's poor. I mean, at first it's poor for him, Tete, to allow the ball to come through. But because he is deeper than the rest of the defence, that's allowed Griezmann to pick out that ball, because he's just allowed to fire it in with pace, and he knows that Hernandez is going to be onside. So the Netherlands need to do something with that. They get an overrun, really, in the midfield, which is putting a lot of pressure on the back four at the moment. Well, they haven't really attacked down this right-hand side of the Netherlands, but you think if they did, Daley Blind is going to be a bit of a mismatch up against the likes of Mbappe or even Griezmann if he comes over this way, as it is that man Griezmann who has possession. He's picked it up just over the halfway line, which shows the sort of free roll that he's having at the moment. He's just allowed to float wherever he wants and be that link-up man. Mbappe now, good play as he comes forward there, finds Griezmann on the edge of the area. Oh, he tries a little reverse ball into the box, and Mbappe just wasn't on the same wavelength. But that was oh so close there for a shooting chance of Griezmann. Mbappe's ball was just slightly behind him.
It was indeed. Again, it was a great free-throw move, though, from France. Just intricate one-touch football, which easily cut their way through the middle of the Dutch midfield and the back line. And you feel like it's just a matter of time before France go on and add to this lead. So I will just correct what I said earlier on. Benjamin Mendy, of course, not Bernard Mendy, on the bench for France this evening. But you look at Sidibe's on the bench, Ousmane Dembele, with at his age, he's 19, 20 now at Barcelona. Yes, all right, maybe not playing all the time, but learning all the time from players like Suarez and Messi and Coutinho around him. He's only going to get better, and I think this France squad as a whole are only going to get better if they continue in the same way.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that one, and it is scary for the rest of the world really to try and go up against them. Even the likes of Germany, who did get a 0-0 in that last game, but you'd feel that Germany were maybe a little bit fortunate. I think France had the better chances in that one, as the Netherlands come forward down this right-hand side. A rare flurry forward for them, but appealing for a handball, they don't get it. I think it would have been harsh as it just hit the French defender in Hernandez, and now Pogba stretching his legs down this left side, goes past a couple challenges very easily. One of those was Davy Pröpper. He puts it in field now for Giroud, tries a first time layoff for Pogba, and he doesn't find his teammate, and now the Netherlands can try and come forward themselves. But I think rightly they're just holding on to this one and calming things down a little bit. They're getting drawn in, you feel, into this fast tempo, this fast pace of play that France do. I have to say, Adrien Rabiot is another one we haven't mentioned for France. He's not in the squad, but he's playing all the time now. He's been an ever-present for Paris Saint-Germain this season. A lot of interest from him as well, because his contract is into the final year of it. Kingsley Coman's another one. He's injured at the moment. Wissam Ben Yedder, Dimitri Payet, Lacazette.
Yeah.
There's just so many.
In fairness to Lacazette as well, the way that he's performed when he's been given a chance off the bench for Arsenal, you suggest he's a little bit unfortunate not to be in this squad. And the two Everton players, Lucas Digne and Kurt Zouma on loan, of course, from Chelsea, they played decent enough Premier League football over the last couple of weeks or so to suggest they could push their way in. So there are masses of options for Didier Deschamps. It's great for him to be able to choose from such a pool of players, and in harsh and stark contrast, the Netherlands look like they're almost picking from I would say no more than 15-20 players.
Yeah, no, I'd have to agree with that. These 15-20 players, that could make a difference on the international stage. I think the thing is, for France as well, it would always been about, they've always had great attackers, they've had decent defenders, but it's been someone in that midfield to be the holding midfielder, and Kante again gets huge praise for that, as does Matuidi, because those two do so much work for them, and that opens up, that allows Pogba to be a little bit more expansive in his play. And I think that's the real difference for France over the past couple of years. They've got a couple of players in there in that holding midfield role that are just able to go forward. But I say holding midfield role, Matuidi offered that assist there for Mbappe, and Kante now for Chelsea this season has been able to get forward a bit more.
He has, yeah. Strange decision. I thought when I saw him pushed on a bit further forward by Sarri, but you know, he's cut himself on the score sheet on the opening weekend. He looks like he feels as comfortable up in the attacking third than he does in the defensive third. He does such a good job in this French side as well. It basically enables Pogba to just drift forward when he feels he can do it as well.
Well, it's still France 1, the Netherlands 0, and it's easy as you like for the world champions. There's been a couple, well, sort of half opportunities. It's just little through balls there, and that the Netherlands are really struggling to keep a hold of Antoine Griezmann. There was a lovely passage of play where it got fed towards the feet of Giroud. First time there for Mbappe. He drives forward. His ball, his layoff towards Griezmann was just a little bit behind him, and he tried a reverse ball in there. The Atletico Madrid man couldn't find his teammate, and then down the left-hand side, Griezmann picks out a lovely through ball into the box to find Hernandez. He actually slid and tried to hit it first time, where if he'd taken a touch, he had a lot more time than he thought. But at the moment, France are on top, and it remains 1-0.
Holland do have possession at the moment inside the France half, but it's with no real pace whatsoever, and Tete has to go back to De Ligt, who will now come back towards his centre-half partner Van Dijk under pressure from Griezmann. Van Dijk just has to get the ball away quickly. He does have it back in his feet inside his own half now, the Liverpool man. He plays a long raking ball towards the run of Ryan Babel. Thumbs up from Babel. He's never going to get there. Areola was out quickly to gather. Some latest scores elsewhere, by the way, in Europe. Cyprus 0, Slovenia 0, Liechtenstein 0, Gibraltar 0. And full-time scores from earlier. Bulgaria 1, Norway 0. Georgia 1, Latvia 0. Macedonia 2, Armenia 0. Ukraine beat Slovakia by a goal to 0. And it was disappointment for Wales, who went down by 2 goals to 0 in Denmark, courtesy of 2 goals from Christian Eriksen.
Yeah, a lot of work to do for Ryan Giggs still, I think, with that Welsh side. They were a lot of optimism after they thrashed the Republic of Ireland, but it's an ageing Irish side, you'd feel, who are not maybe what they used to be a few years ago. But back to our game, France 1, Netherlands 0, and it is gone over the midway point of this first half. 24.5 minutes played. France 1, Netherlands 0, and Warren will take you through to half time.
Thanks very much, James. I'm going to get a crick in my neck looking to the right hand side at the moment, because that's where all the play is at this stage. And Mbappe, with 30 yards to go, back to goal, plays it in towards Pogba. Pogba brought down, says the referee. And, well, I think both James and I thought that was a little bit harsh on the Dutch player there, who I think was De Jong, who went in with a challenge with Pogba. It was too much in that.
He's already going down, Pogba. He flicks it in between Van Yaldum and De Jong, and then suddenly realises, oh, I'm not going to get there because De Jong's come over and basically blocked out my path. So he just feels a little hand on the shoulder, throws himself down and gets the free kick.
Free kick it is to France in a dangerous position. It's good 40 yards from goal, but of course with the height that they have in Varane and Umtiti from the back and Giroud up top, and it's every opportunity they can create something with this. Griezmann stood over it on his left foot, will swing it in. He swings it in now towards the near post, and Mbappe with a little flick header, and it's into the arms of Cillessen pretty comfortably. He did have to raise both feet off the ground in order to catch it, but in fairness, it was never really going to test him, as he'd taken most of the pace off the ball. Mbappe with a little flick. Interesting what they'd tried there, James, is obviously a couple of players at the back post purposely run offside, almost trying to lure the Dutch defenders back in. They held their line. Mbappe wasn't offside in the end, flicked it towards goal, but that's where the rule, for me, is a little bit poor, because it doesn't enable the defenders to defend properly. It's almost like a confusion at the back.
Yeah, it is, and it makes it even harder for the linesmen trying to figure out who's offside and who's involved in the play, who's not in the play. So yeah, I do agree with that, but you just can't keep Mbappe out of this game at the moment. He's the one with the flicked header, and he's just trying to sort of glance that one off the top of his head into the far corner, but he's just got a little bit too much on it in the end.
Pavard down the line towards Mbappe, pulls it right across the penalty area. Oh, bad touch again from Tete, and a shot from Matuidi takes a deflection off the Dutch fullback and goes behind for a corner. He is having an absolute nightmare, Tete, today. He does not know where he needs to be or where he's going. His touch was shocking, and he's very fortunate, James, that Matuidi's shot was right at his ankles, and it actually is flicked behind for a corner.
Yeah, it hits his inside of his left ankle and goes behind, through his legs and behind. But yeah, this is all France at the moment. But I have to say, Tete's not having a great game, but he's getting no support from anyone in front of him to help him out.
No, there is a lack of energy more than anything about this Dutch side as Griezmann swings in the latest corner. Van Dijk heads it away pretty comfortably, and that's surely a foul. It is indeed won by Promes as he was knocked down from behind by Hernandez. There was no need to push him there as well. Back to goal, going nowhere, and he's just gone straight through the back of the Dutchman, and it will be a free kick to the Netherlands midway inside their own half. You know, somebody over the age of 4-0, it's absolutely unthinkable, really, in years gone by, that the Netherlands would miss out on two major tournaments, the Euros and the World Cup, back to back, and then you certainly wouldn't rule them out missing a third as well. The way that this squad is at the moment, it's just unthinkable, really. And Dutch football, in a state of turmoil, have looked to one of their legendary players in Ronald Koeman to turn things around, and it's one heck of a job on his hands to try and do it, as Pogba inside the centre circle flicks the ball out to the right hand side on towards Mbappe. Pavard's on the overlap. Instead, he just holds up possession this time, Mbappe, and goes back towards Paul Pogba. Kante now further to the left hand side, and the overlapping Hernandez, who's probably been more in the Dutch half than he has in his own half in this opening 28 minutes. And it remains France 1, the Netherlands 0 in this unofficial off-tube studio commentary. Kante switches the play to Varane, who interestingly has got the skipper's armband on, and I have to say, he looks a colossus at the back. Varane, I just think he would be, you know, we talk about spine of the team, and Varane, Kante, Pogba, and probably Griezmann through the middle is as strong as it gets, really, in world football, with that sort of quality from back to front. Varane now back out wide to the right hand side, and Pavard, who comes back into the centre circle and finds Umtiti. And now, as ever, N'Golo Kante is available to pick up a short pass out wide to Hernandez. The Dutch almost seem scared to come out of their defensive third, James, because they just think if we're going to leave any gaps that the French are going to take advantage.
Well, they are, and it's an issue at the moment. I just don't think this 4-3-3 really works for the Netherlands with how much attacking threat that France have. You kind of think, so they just go back to how they used to be under Van Gaal, when it was the three at the back with the two wing backs, which just offers them a little bit more protection. You probably go with De Vrij, with De Ligt and Van Dijk, and then you could have, you know, you could have a little bit more expansive players in the wing back. So Van Aanholt as a left wing back would be a lot better. Tete would probably be better as a right wing back because it doesn't have to do as much defensive work, but it just offers a little bit more protection in there.
I'd be tempted to put Nathan Ake as the middle of the back three. I think he does that job so well for Bournemouth. He mops up everything. He's comfortable on the ball. He can play it out from the back. I think he would be a good option, as you say. I think Van Aanholt's made for that left wing back role. He would be ideal for there. And Daley Blind's not got the pace that he needs to play in that position, and Tete for me has looked pretty poor so far. You could play Janmaat, he's played as a wing back quite often for Watford over the last couple of seasons, so you know, far be it from us to tell Ronald Koeman what to do, but that would seem to have a better structure about it than the side as they are at the moment. Holland have possession and Daley Blind plays it forward, ball on from Depay in towards Babel inside the penalty area. What can he create here? He plays it out short to Blind, who thought about crossing it on his favoured left foot and has come backwards towards Depay. And now Memphis Depay just being forced away by Mbappe. He does well to hold on to possession, tries to draw the foul, and he gets the foul. I have to say again, there wasn't a great deal in that, although Mbappe was suckered into the challenge, because exactly what Depay wanted him to do, because he was going nowhere really.
Yeah, it's a little sort of leg comes in there, but that's all Depay's waiting for, because he's running into sort of a circle of French players, and any contact he's going to go down, and there's a chance now from a set piece. They do have tall players in there. I mean, Van Dijk is a decent height to them, De Ligt as well. Blind's got a bit of a jump, so this is potentially the best hope they have of scoring goals.
Yeah, I would say so. I think set pieces are going to be the best opportunity this evening as Van Dijk pulls away towards the back post. He almost got onto the end of it. Umtiti read it well and headed it out of the penalty area, but it was an opportunity that looked like it was going to open up for the Liverpool centre-back as Tete plays it forward. Not a bad ball either down the line, and that's just silly from Promes, who had Hernandez in problems going back towards his own byline, They just pushed him in the back with two hands.
I mean, it's not enough to make Hernandez go down, but they feel contact, and he's in sort of a bit of defensive trouble in terms of he's going to have to give up a lot of territory, and any sort of contact, they're going to go down, so just don't do it.
I have to say, by the way, we'll give credit where credit's due. I thought it was Umtiti that had got back to deny Van Dijk. Watching the replays, it's actually Paul Pogba who's tracked back with the Dutch defender and has managed to get the trouble out of his own penalty area. Here come Holland, meanwhile, again with Wijnaldum down left-hand side. Great run in towards the penalty area. Good sliding challenge, I think, in the end. In fact, well, hold on, the referee is given a goal kick here after the challenge from Pavard. James, I think you were pointing as if to say it's a penalty, but if he hasn't got the ball, that is a penalty.
I thought it was straight away. I put my hand out and I thought that's a penalty. It just looks like Wijnaldum gets his foot to it first.
Yeah.
That kicks the ball ahead of him and out for a goal kick, but Pavard wipes him out, and that should be a penalty.
Well, you look at it and you think, well, if he hasn't touched the ball and it hasn't gone behind for a corner, then surely Wijnaldum's got the touch and he's brought him down, and that seems a very strange decision indeed from the official. So Holland can think themselves a little bit unlucky here that they've not been given a penalty kick. Jorginho Wijnaldum brought down to all intents and purposes inside the penalty area by Pavard, but the Spanish referee waved away Wijnaldum's appeals as France come forward here again with Griezmann. Good foot in by Van Dijk to win the ball back, and now Wijnaldum is inside his own half. Goes 360 degrees before playing out to Tete, who's again giving the ball away to Matuidi. He's bursting forward. Was that a free kick? Referee says yes for a foul by Tete on Matuidi. He's absolutely having a stinker out there, the Dutch right back.
He's just so nervous, he's so tense when the ball comes to him, because his first touch, it just pings off his foot straight away, and it allows the French players know it because they're just going on it his first touch every time, nipping in and winning the ball. It is just a foul, I think. They get their legs tangled together there, Tete and Matuidi, and this is a chance now for France. We mentioned Netherlands have got big players, but so do France.
You do indeed, and the delivery is often very good from Antoine Griezmann. The man from Lyon, Kenny Tete, who hasn't had a great deal of experience at club level in France, has played for Ajax previous to that. At the age of just 22, is in danger of being torn apart this evening by France going forward. They do have a free kick now, the World Cup winners. Giroud is one of the players waiting the potential delivery. And Mbappe stood over it as well, as if he's going to go for goal here. It's a long way out. It's a good 35-40 yards from goal. Griezmann instead chips it in towards the back post. Up go the heads. Umtiti got a head on it, and he headed it down, but it was straight into the arms of Cillessen. I think there wasn't a great deal of pace, and he had to go backwards and crane his neck, James, and I think that was the problem. He just couldn't get the pace in it to beat the goalkeeper.
Yeah, he just went ahead of the ball there, which was the issue. Like you said, he's got to sort of whip his head back and then try and get as much power as he can on it, and it was easy in the end for Cillessen. It could have dropped down to anyone as the Netherlands come forward.
Yeah, Depay plays the ball out wide to Daley Blind. Deep cross left-footed towards the back post. Volley chance, and it's gone well wide, and then in fact hasn't got out of play, and Kante's clearance comes off Blind and goes behind for a corner. That was Daley Blind's deep cross towards the back post, and I feel like I'm picking on him here, James, at the moment, but it's Tete again with a really tame attempted side foot volley. He's got to put his laces through that and have a go on goal.
I don't know what he's trying to do. He's trying to pass, he's trying to cushion that one into the top left corner, where you just think it's your favoured right foot. Just give it a smash, get your head over it, get your foot over it there, and just give it a whack.
Here come the Netherlands again, though, on the edge of the French penalty area. Good challenge from Pogba to win it back, though, for the home side. And now Griezmann out to the left-hand side, and Hernandez, who runs hard. Was he fouled by Tete? Referee says he was. And I actually think he was a little bit unlucky there.